Welcome to this session of Energy Conservation and Management. Myself, Anirban Sarkar, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department of JIS College of Engineering, Kolkata. In today's session, we will discuss about Module 2, the need of energy, and today's session is about lecture number 4, that is need for energy conservation. Learning outcome: understand the concept of need of energy conservation. First of all, we need to know importance of energy conservation. We know that coal and other fossil fuel which have taken 3 million years to form are likely to deplete soon. In last 200 years, we have consumed 60% of all resources. For sustainable development, we need to adopt energy efficiency measures. Today, 85% of primary energy comes from non-renewable and fossil fuel sources, that is coal, oil, etc. These reserves are continually diminishing with increasing consumption and will not exist for future generations. Hard facts on why energy conservation is a must are outlined below. Number 1, we use energy faster than it can be produced, that is coal, oil and natural gas. The most utilized source takes millions, millions of years of formation. Number 2, energy sources are limited. India has approximately 1% of world energy resources, but it has 16% of world population. Number 3, most of the energy resources we use cannot be reused and renewed. Non-renewable energy sources constitute 80% of the fuel use. It is said that our energy resources may last only for another 40 years or so. Number 4, energy saved in energy generated. When we save 1 unit of energy, it is equivalent to 2 units of energy produced. Number 5, save energy to reduce pollution. Energy production and use accounts to large proportion of air pollution and more than 83% of greenhouse gas emissions. Next, change in climate. Human activities, particularly the combustion of fossil fuel, have made the blanket of greenhouse gases, that is water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, ozone, etc., around the earth thicker. The resulting increases in global temperature in altering the complex web of system that allows life to thrive on earth, such as rainfall, wind pattern, ocean currents, and distribution of plants and animal species. Now, the effect of greenhouse gases. Life on Earth is made possible by energy from sun, which arrives mainly in the form of visible light. About 30% of the sunlight is scattered back into space, and the balance 70% reaches the Earth's surface, which reflects it in the form of infrared radiation. The escape of slow-moving infrared radiation is delayed by the greenhouse gases. A thicker blanket of greenhouse gases taps more infrared radiation and increases the Earth's temperature. In today's world, prevention of global warming, conservation of resources, and prevention of the ecosystem is important for a development of a sustainable society. Because this global warming plays an very important role in case of in ecosystem, and thus conservation of energy is also required. That is, we have to use such type of energy that we can recycle and reuse. We know greenhouse gases make up only 1% of the atmosphere, but they act as a blanket around the Earth, or like a glass roof of a greenhouse, and keep the Earth 30 degrees warmer than it would be otherwise. Without greenhouse gases, Earth would be too cold to live. Human activities that are responsible for making the greenhouse layer thicker are emissions of carbon dioxide from the combustion of coal, oil, and natural gas. By additional, methane and nitrous oxide from farming activities and changes in land uses, and by several man-made gases that have a long life in the atmosphere. The increase in greenhouse gases is happening at an alarming rate. If greenhouse gases emission continues to grow at current rate, it is almost certain that the atmospheric level of carbon dioxide will increase twice or thrice from pre-industrial levels during the 21st century. Even a small increase in Earth's temperature will be accompanied by changes in climate such as cloud cover, precipitation, wind patterns, and duration of seasons. In an already highly crowded and stressed Earth, millions of people depend on weather patterns such as monsoon rains to continue as they have in past. Even minimum changes will be disruptive and difficult. Carbon dioxide is responsible for 60% of the enhanced greenhouse effect. Humans are burning coal, oil, and natural gas at a rate that is much faster than the rate at which these fossil fuels were created. This is releasing the carbon stored in the fuels into the atmosphere and upsetting the carbon cycle, which is a precise balance system by which carbon exchanged between the air, the ocean, and the land vegetation takes place over millions of years. Currently, carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere are rising by over 10% every 20 years. Current evidence on climate changes. Cyclone, storm, hurricanes are occurring more frequently, and floods and droughts are more intense than before. These increases in extreme weather event cannot be explained away as random event. This tends towards more powerful storms and hotter, longer dry period is predicted by computer models. Warmer temperature mean greater evaporation, and a warmer atmosphere is able to hold more moisture, and hence there is more water aloft that fall as precipitation. Similarly, dry regions are prone to lose still more moisture if the weather is hotter, and hence this leads to more severe drought and desertification. Future effects. Even the minimum predicted shift in climate for 21st century are likely to be significant and disruptive. Predictions of future climate changes are wide-ranging. The global temperature may climb from 1.4 to 5.8 degrees centigrade. The sea levels may rise from 9 to 88 centimeter. Thus, increases in sea level this century are expected to range from significant to catastrophic. This uncertainty reflects the complexity, interrelatedness, and sensitivity of the natural system that makes up the climate. Severe storms and flooding. The minimum warming forecast for the next 100 years is more than twice the 0.6 degree centigrade increase that has occurred since 1900, and that earlier increase is already having marked consequences. Extreme weather events, as predicted by computer models, are striking more often and can be expected to intensify and become still more frequent. A future of more severe storms and floods along the world, increasingly crowded coastlines is likely. Food shortage, although regional and local effect may differ widely, a general reduction is expected in potential crop yields in most tropical and subtropical regions. Mid-continental areas such as the United States grain belt and vast areas of Asia are likely to become dry. Sub-Saharan Africa, where dryland agriculture relies solely on rain, the yield would decrease dramatically even with minimum increase in temperature. Such changes would cause disruptions in food supply in a world is already affected with food shortage and famines. Dwindling freshwater supply, salt water intrusion from the rising sea level will reduce the quality and quantity of freshwater supplies. This is a major concern since billions of people on earth already lack access to fresh water. Higher ocean level already are contaminated underground water sources in many parts of the world. Loss of biodiversity. Most of the world endangered species, some 25% of mammals and 12% of birds, may become extinct over next few decades as warmer conditions alter the forests, wetlands, and rangelands they depend on, and human development blocks them from migrating elsewhere. Increased disease. High temperatures are expected to expand the range of some dangerous vector-borne diseases such as malaria, dengue, which already kills 1 million people annually. Most of them are children. A world under stress. Ongoing environmentally damaging activity such as overgrazing, deforestation, and denuded agricultural soil means that nature will be more vulnerable than previously to change in climate. Similarly, the world's vast human population, much of its poor, is vulnerable to climate stress. Millions live in dangerous places such as flood plains or in slums around the big cities of the developing world. Often, there is nowhere else for population to move. In the distinct fact, man and his ancestors migrated in response to change in habitat. There will be much less room for migration in future. Global warming almost certainly will be unfair. The industrialized country of North America and Western Europe and other countries such as Japan are responsible for vast amount of past and current greenhouse gas emissions. These emissions are incurred for the high standard of living enjoyed by the people in those countries. Yet, those who suffer most from climate changes will be in developing world. They have fewer resources for coping with storms, with floods and droughts, with disease outbreak, and with disruption to food and water supplies. They are eager for economic development themselves, but may find that this already difficult process has become more difficult because of climate change. The poorer nations of the world have done almost nothing to cause global warming, yet is most exposed to its effect. Acid rain. Acid rain is caused by releasing of SOx and NOx from combustion of fossil fuel, which then mix with water vapor in atmosphere to form sulfuric and nitric acid respectively. The effect of acid rains are as follows. Acidification of lakes, streams, and soils, direct and indirect effect, that is release of metals, for example aluminium, which washes away plant nutrients, killing of wildlife, that is tree, crops, aquatic plants and animals, decay of building material and paints, statues and sculpture, and last of all health problem, for example respiratory, burning skin, eyes, etc. So due to this various reason, there is a need for energy conservation, which gives us ultimately, first of all, save money. One of the most immediate benefits of energy conservation is the amount of money we will save each month in our utility bills. Environmental and social effect. Migrates of numerous adverse environmental and social impacts associated with energy production and consumption. These include air pollution, acid rain and global warming, oil spills and water pollution, loss of wilderness areas, construction of new power plant. Number 3, energy conservation extends the lifetime of equipment and reduce the maintenance cost by operating less hours and at less than maximum capacity. And number 4, energy conservation reduce the increasing global warming. Now, what are the benefits in terms of energy efficiency? For an industry, due to energy conservation, reduce energy bills, increased competitiveness, increased productivity, improved quality, increased profit. For a nation, reduced energy imports, avoid costs can be used for properly reduction, conservation of limited resources, and last of all, improved energy security. On globe basis, it reduces greenhouse gas effect and other emissions, and it maintains a sustainable environment. Energy strategy for the future. For immediate term strategy, rationalizing the tariff structure of various energy products, optimum utilization of existing assets, efficiency in production system, and reduction in distribution losses, including those in traditional energy sources. Prompting R&D, transfer, and use of technologies and practices for environmentally sound energy system, including new and renewable energy sources. Medium-term strategy, demand management through greater conservation of energy, optimum fuel mix, structural changes in the economy, an appropriate model mix in the transport sector, that is greater dependence on rail than on road for the movement of goods and passengers, and the shift away from private modes to a public modes for passenger transport. Changes in design of different products to reduce the material intensity of those product recycling, etc. There is need to shift to less energy intensive modes of transport. This would include measures to improve the transport infrastructure via roads, better design of vehicles, use of compressed natural gas, that is CNG, and synthetic fuel, etc. Similarly, better urban planning would also reduce the demand for energy use in the transport sector. There is a need to move away from non-renewable to renewable energy source, that is via solar, wind, biomass, etc. For long-term strategy, efficient generation of energy resources under this, efficient production of coal, oil, and natural gas, reduction of natural gas flaring, improving energy infrastructure, building new refineries, creation of urban gas transmission and distribution network, maximizing efficiency of rail transport of coal production, building new coal and gas-fired power stations. Enhancing energy efficiency improves energy efficiency in accordance with national socio-economical and environmental priorities. Prompting of energy efficiency and emission standards, labeling programs for products, and adoption of energy efficiency technologies in large industries. Deregulation and privatization of energy sector. It will reduce cross subsidies on oil products and electricity tariff, decontrolling coal price and making natural gas price competitive, privatization of oil, coal, and power sector for improved efficiency, investment designation to attract foreign investment, streamlining approval process for attaching private sector participation in power generation, transmission, and distribution system. The Energy Conservation Act 2001 and its features. It involves minimum energy consumption and performance standard for notified equipment and appliance. Prohibits manufacturer, sale, and import of such equipment which does not conform to the standards. Introduce a mandatory labeling scheme for notified equipment appliance to enable customer to make informed choice and disestimate information on the benefits of customer. Bureau of Energy Efficiency. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency is an agency of Government of India under the Ministry of Power, created in March 2002 under the provision of Nation's 2001 Energy Conservation Act. The agency's function is to develop program which will increase the conservation and efficiency use of energy in India. The government has proposed to make it mandatory for certain appliances in India to have ratings by the BEE starting in January 2010. Energy Conservation Building Codes. Energy conservation building codes were developed to deal with rapidly increasing energy consumption in commercial buildings. This sets minimum energy efficiency standards for design and construction of commercial buildings. It includes building function, comfort, health, and productivity of the occupants, life cycle costs. Energy Conservation Building Code defines the norms of energy requirement per square meter of area and takes into consideration the climate region of the country where the building is located. The owner or occupiers have to comply with the energy consumption norms and standards or to prepare and implement schemes for its efficiency use of conservation. Central government can prescribe energy conservation building codes and direct owners occupiers to comply with them. State government can modify the code to suit regional and local climate conditions. Standards and leveling. These are wide variations in energy consumption of similar products by various manufacturers. Also, information on energy consumption is often not easily available. This leads to continued manufacture and purchase of inefficiency equipment and appliances. Standard leveling has been identified as a key activity for energy efficiency improvement. The standard and leveling program which in place would ensure that only energy efficient equipment and appliance would be made available to the consumer. The main provisions are evolve minimum energy consumption and performance standard for notified equipment and appliance, prevent manufacturer, sale and import of such equipment which does not meet the standard. Introduce a mandatory labeling scheme for notified equipment and appliance to enable consumer to make correct choice, and special information on the benefits of to customer. So standards, energy efficient standards are procedure and regulations prescribed by the energy performance of energy consumption. Labels, energy efficiency labels are informative labels affixed to the manufacturer product to describe the product's energy performance. Star rating is a system initiated by BE to determine the energy efficiency of an appliance like air conditioner, refrigerator, heater, etc. Depending upon their energy efficiency, they are rated on a scale of 1 to 5 star. Star ratings start from 1 star, which indicates less efficient, to 5 star, which indicates more efficient. Star ratings are affixed on appliance after testing in BE accredited laboratory. Relationship between standards and leveling. The leveling programs are the best way to implement standards. The level serves as a complement to standards. The levels can either provide detailed information about a product energy performance or simply indicate that a product has met certain energy performance. Labels also provide useful visual information about standards to the customer, and they are the main instruments of market transformation. The label programs can also provide useful data for updating standards. Bharat Lamp Yojana. So in this scheme, the incandescent bulb are replaced by modern CFL bulbs, that is compact fluorescent lamps, and it is estimated that 400 millions of old incandescent bulbs can be replaced, and thus we can save 6,000 megawatt of energy by 2012. Demand side management. Demand side management means managing the demand for power by utility or distribution companies among some or all the customers to meet current or future needs. These programs result in energy and or demand reduction. For example, under this process, the demand can be shifted from peak to off-peak hours, thereby reducing the need for buying expensive important power during the peak hours. DSM also enables end users to better manage their load curves and thus improves the profitability. Potential energy savings through DSM is treated same as new addition on the supply side in megawatt. DSM can reduce the capital needs of power capacity expansions. So with this, we are likely to conclude this session. These are the references. Thank you for joining this session.